Good morning. Good morning. How are you all doing today? Thursday morning. You guys hear me okay? Just let me know. Just give me a thumbs up or a yes, or you guys should be able to hear me okay. I think everything is working good. Nice to see you all again. Can we start by giving some likes, if you don't mind? Running over there with your mouse and just clicking on the like button for me, so we can get a few more people noticing through the YouTube algorithms that somebody likes what we're up to. That'd be nice. So I got Euro up here on the charts, and so I want to take a look at it. We see some nice bullish pressure coming into the market right now, and this has to do with what we were talking about not too long ago. Okay, in regards to what we are expecting from price. So we'll go back here onto this daily chart. And what we were talking about before was this move to the upside. How we took advantage of this momentum that came up in price. And we took some long trades, okay, taking advantage of that initial push up that we had. Remember, there was major demand here by the institutions. So when price came into it, it had to react to the upside. So that is what took place down here, that nice reaction from demand. So we got in some long positions, took advantage of that move, but then the momentum died out right up here. Okay, that's where the momentum died, and you can see it turned down, and it has since removed an area of demand, and now we're starting to get what could be a bullish engulf. Okay, this is good. We like this, right? Because we want this to continue and surpass the previous high here. And if that takes place, then what we are seeing in the market now is the institutions creating an uptrend on the daily chart. Okay. Again, this initial move to the upside was just a reaction from demand. It doesn't mean that it's going to continue price up. It doesn't mean that it's a structure built by the banks to facilitate a move higher. It's just a reaction from demand. What's necessary is for price to drop back down, create a base, and then move higher past previous highs and sustain that move higher. And then we'll have an uptrend. So far things are looking good for that long signal that we've been waiting for. And when price gets up here, then we'll start looking for longer term entries. Okay. So we have shorter term targets here, 122.75. Okay, we've had those targets in there for quite some time. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how it plays out. But so far, it's looking pretty good. Let's see. Hey, Tim, nice to see you. Matt, yeah, nice to see you guys back. Can you guys hit that like button for me? Let's get some likes up there. Right now, I'm seeing 0. I don't see anything. not even one like. All right, so that's what's taking place here, and that's probably going to continue for the rest of this week. We just got one more day, right? One more day. So let's take a look at something here. We got NFP coming out on tomorrow. I think it was, what time is that at? Let's double check here. Economic calendar. I forgot the time. On farm payrolls, 8:30. Okay. 8:30. So what should we be expecting? Well, let's think about it. A lot of people like to trade NFP, right? A lot of people like to trade. So putting things into perspective, let's take a look at the dollar. Okay, we have the dollar stopping and turning back down. Okay, it removed some supply, which opened up the floodgates for a move higher. But because we are in this phase of the institutions creating a potential structure to the downside, whether continued higher or drop back down, it was difficult to tell what it could do because it could do anything. It could have come up here, it could have went higher, could have stopped there. It's hard to tell. But once the structure is in place and they create their zones, then we know what's taking place. But during these phases, it's really impossible to know where they're going to put price. Okay, because they're doing it live, right? They're doing it at the moment. So unless you are there watching and listening to what they're talking about and what they're planning on doing, you wouldn't know. Likes must be delayed. Yeah, I guess so, because on my side here, I don't see one like, but I take it that you guys have been clicking on that for me, so I appreciate that. They're a little bit behind today. That's okay. So let's consider something here. Okay, NFP going to take place tomorrow, and a lot of traders are going to get involved in that, right? We see some movement to the downside. So we have to determine whether or not this movement to the downside is the banks coming in and pushing down because they are planning to continue it, or if this reaction to the downside is not necessarily the banks. And if that's the case, then this can still go higher, considering that this here has been removed. Okay, so that's a possibility. If we go down to the lower time frame, let's take a look at what we got here. All right, so we got something like this. And an upward trend, I wouldn't put an upward trend line on that one. No, I would not do that. So this is what we got here. So obviously you can tell by looking at price that demand is located lower and there's really no supply until up here. So it's like how I like to say it, it's in the middle of the ocean, right? If this was a dock down here and this was a dock, the boat has set sail and it's in the middle of the ocean. So how do we know which direction the wind's going to come? We don't know until the wind comes. So the NFP tomorrow, wind can come down here and then reverse up. It can come up like this. It's difficult to tell. So I don't see anything that would really dictate what price is going to do. If price was in a different situation, okay, so let's say, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So let's say price had come down, turned up, went down like this, and let's say we had a trend line coming down like that, okay? And let's say we had an area of supply coming across like this, and price came up and contacted that supply. If this is what was taking place right before NFP, then I would say with great certainty that regardless of what the data is, price is going to drop, okay? Because that is definitely one thing that I've noticed, and I've posted on this on social media for years, that, you know, a lot of people say, oh, you know, we don't know how the markets are going to react until the data comes out. Well, believe it or not, it doesn't make a difference what the data is. It makes no difference whatsoever. The only difference that it makes is the data will always be used to lure retail traders in some fashion, in some way. Because you know how many times I've seen price enter into a supply zone and the data comes out and it's positive and then price drops from supply. And people are like, why would it drop? Why would price drop if the data was positive for the currency? Well, because it was inside supply. But if you don't know that we're inside supply, then you wouldn't know that. And when you're in supply, guess what? The institutions need to sell. So if they're selling, who's buying, right? Somebody's got to come and buy. So, and the reverse is true, where price comes into a demand zone and the data is released and it's negative. And what will typically happen is all the retail traders will come in and push price down deeper into demand, and the banks will come in and fill in their demand and reverse it to the other side. So if those were the cases, I would say, you know, we're definitely going to see this type of move. But I'm looking at the dollar chart here, and the problem here is that we had this supply removed here by a little bit of a push through. And we are in the middle of creating a structure, okay? We're not in a structure responding to a certain area of demand or supply. We're in the middle of creating a structure. So it's not the most ideal time to be forecasting how the market's going to move, because like I said, there's a number of different ways that price can play out from here, okay? So I would just be very careful with that. If it starts dropping, then you know what? This looks like it's going to start to create that structure for us. And they might use the data to help facilitate that. That is a very big possibility. But I don't think the odds are in any side, you know, right now. It's not favoring any side, bearish or bullish. So that's what I am seeing. Okay, and we'll see tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow as it plays out. All right, we'll be getting together same time, 9 o'clock. If it's at 8:30, it would have already played out. So we'll see. Let's see your comments. What's the longer term target approximately on Euro? Euro USD killing it right now. Longer term targets on Euro. This can go up to the 126s easily. 126s is my target, without a doubt. Okay. Let's see. Dollar's bullish overall based on market structure and seasonality. Let's take a look here at something. Let's take a look at the sentiment. Euro, everybody's bearish. Are we surprised? Not really, right? Again, not really surprised. Okay, so everybody's bearish the Euro. And that's as price was dropping, I'm sure, right through here. They're bearish, and now they're starting to turn price around. What about USCAD? Oh boy, look how bullish they are. USCAD. That's gonna really hurt. That's gonna sting. That's gonna sting. Hey, I'm seeing gold going up to break supply area. Let me take a look. Bon dia. I speak a little bit, but not a lot. I'm gonna have to translate what you wrote, Maria. Gold about to break supply? No, not yet. Not yet. We still have supply holding here, pretty strong. It'll take some time. Okay, but look at that drop to demand here. Okay, hit perfectly. Look at that. Okay, that's the power of drawing demand zones the correct way. They come and they touch them by a couple pips, and that's it. And now we're seeing that push up. So yeah, we could start seeing, now that the euro is starting to build up momentum, we can definitely start seeing this start to push up again and potentially break through here and continue higher. That's for sure. John Travis, I stopped using my FX book for checking retail client sentiment. Pairs are hard to find and sentiment data is less accurate compared with other brokers. You find that, John? What's the reasoning for that? Because there's a lot of people hooking up their accounts to my FX book. And they've got brokers from everywhere around the world. And they're connecting my FX book to all these brokers from around the world. And so they have access to what their positions are. So I think, in my opinion, my FX book would probably be more accurate because instead of just looking at one broker who could be, you know, who could have like primarily traders from the States or England or wherever, you're talking about multiple brokers from all over the world. So you're getting a really good indication of all these traders from everywhere. Mauro, how can you tell? How can I tell what, Mauro? Let's take a look at oil. Ari, good morning, Kev. Kelvin, actually it's Kevin. Noel, do you speak Portuguese? How do I learn your method? I'm marathoning your videos. I want to learn your concepts. Find them in. How do I have the course? Well, it's pretty simple. You come to our website, www.whiteoakfx.com. Okay. And if you want to take the course, you click on this button here, Start Learning. Okay. And that will give you options of how you can start learning. You can choose the basic package, which we're going to be getting rid of that membership soon. And it's going to be the Pro Watch List and Trade Ideas. So that's a new service that we began. We just introduced it, and it's going to be under a new type of membership. It's going to be a little bit more money than the basic. So if you want access to that, you can sign up for basic now because you'll be grandfathered in when that change happens. So you come here. This is our best value and most popular option. People that come to the school want to be students. They want to learn. And we have a 3-month promotion right now. For 3 months, you pay $175 only. Okay, so that gets you 3 months in with the school. You get to start going through all of our video lessons and class material. And it gives you a lot of time to absorb all the videos that we have. Our video lesson library is full of material. You know, we have 3 levels that you have to graduate from. So you don't become a student to have access to everything. You got to graduate from level to level. So we have the lessons here. You go through them and you prepare for class. And then once you've gone through the material and you have a good understanding of it, you join one of the classes that we have live, and you start sending in homework. So that's pretty much it. Once you're done going through the video lessons, you should also go through the classroom sessions, because the classroom sessions, they're so full of information, it's ridiculous. And we got a massive archive, okay, of classroom sessions. We did a portion of the gold daily chart. So basically what we're doing is we're looking at a portion of a chart and we're applying what was learned in the video lessons. We're taking those concepts and principles that are learned in those video lessons and applying it to the charts. So now you have to find institutional supply and demand. You have to find the trend lines, and once you're capable of doing that, you locate those trend lines and zones between 2 dates, okay? And then you email it to us, and that's your homework. And then in the next class, we will review students' homework, and we'll see what was right, what was wrong, and make changes and show, you know, how zones have to be drawn and so forth. So there's a lot of information in these classroom sessions that are not in the video lessons. So to really get a good grasp of everything that we're doing, you would watch the video lessons, and then you'd start watching the classroom sessions. You don't have to go through them all because it's a lot of work, you know. You can go through the latest ones. So if you became a member, you go through the video lessons, and then maybe you come here and you click on Aussie US dollar daily chart part 2, archive. Okay, you click on there, and then you'd see that we have 7 classes that were in here. Okay, and each one has a summary of what we went through in general. Some of them are long, as you can see, an hour and 41 minutes, an hour and 48 minutes, so an hour 9 minutes. We always try to keep them within an hour, but sometimes we get so deep into conversations, and so we go deeper into analysis, and I break it down to you. You know, why is it that we know certain things to be true about the market? You know, it's one thing to make an accusation or an assumption, but it's another thing to back it up with real, with something real, right? And so that's what we do. We go into stuff and then do the analysis work to determine how we know something to be true. So we go through all that stuff. It's an incredible process. It'll change your trading forever, that's for sure. It has already been taking people's trading and changing it. So that's it. That's the process, okay? Let's see. A lot of messages coming through. Yeah, Timothy, if you're trying to trade with the MyFX book data, it's going to seem wrong. You can almost just do the opposite of what most traders do. Yeah. Well, the thing is that we don't want to be doing what retail traders are doing. We want to be doing what the banks are doing. That's the key, right? But why I like looking at the data, the MyFX book data, is because I like to understand the story of price, what it's doing, why it's doing it, what phase is it in, so that I can check to see if the retail traders are falling for it. And if they are, then I know the banks have a certain agenda, right? It's like being a detective. You gotta be on the trail and have your suspicions of what's taking place, investigate it, and then when you see the evidence to corroborate it, then you know your trades will work like perfection. It's unbelievable how accurate you can be. How long can it take for gold long setup? Months, weeks, because people get impatient. Oh, people get impatient, and then they lose their money. So, you know, you have to learn patience. If people are impatient, that's not my problem. That's their problem, right? I have all the patience in the world. I will wait as long as it takes. I don't know how long it will take. It's as long as it takes, you know. If you get impatient and you start getting in too early, then it might not play out with the expectation that you would expect. Because people get impatient and end up blowing their accounts because they can't wait. How long normally can swing trades take to set up? It all depends. It depends on what setup it is. Okay, the euro, this swing trade long, it will take maybe 2 weeks until it's set up. Maybe 2 weeks. Okay. The day trades happen very quickly. We got in, we took advantage of the move, and it played out to perfection. But the swing trades, they can take longer. It all depends on what phase the market is in, you know, because you're dealing with multiple time frames. Remember, we always have to find our way in the storyline, right? You have to find our way into the storyline. So, you know, it's like, imagine you're an extra in a movie, okay? You're an extra in a movie. Think of it this way. This is the beginning of the movie, and this is the end of the movie, okay? And here's the movie from beginning to end. And each portion of the movie is cut into different scenes, right? Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, scene 4, okay? And you're the extra in the movie, and the only part you will play is a part that fits in this scene, right? And so you know that you play a pretty important role in how the movie will play out after your scene, okay? So if price is here, you have to know your place. You have to know what type of trade you are, what trade that you're looking for, and how it fits into the overall story of price. Because if you try to do what you are supposed to do here and you try to do it here, it probably is not going to work out very well for you, okay? Because you're out of place with the story of price. So you got to wait for this to get here and jump. And then when it's here, then you make your move. That's the highest probability that what you are supposed to do with your trade is going to work out. Okay. That's your highest probability. And then you go in with a good position, a strong position, knowing that as it plays out, it's going to play out very likely in your favor. And then what comes after that, you could take advantage of that as well. There could be trading opportunities here, here, and here. But before your time comes, it could possibly be not a good opportunity. It all depends on the storyline. It all depends on what it is you're doing. If it's a day trade, like I was mentioning with the euro, okay, price came down to that major area of demand, remember? And then that initial move up. So in that storyline of what we were expecting, that movie was short. It started here and it ended somewhere, and we didn't even know where the ending was going to be because we knew that the momentum was going to just die down and price was going to reverse to the downside. So that was something that was a risk factor involved in the trade, is that we didn't know where the ending was going to be, but we knew that we could play a role in it. Okay, so we took advantage of it many ways. We got in many times and we took advantage of that. But now the phase that we're in with the movie ending, it's starting to turn back. Why? Because we're about to create this new movie. If price goes up and creates an uptrend, then we have a new movie going on, okay? And this movie means it's going to push price up like that. So, but once we know what the movie is, then we know what role we can play in it and when it's our time to enter into the movie. What scene are we involved in? All right. Does that make sense? If you can kind of grasp that, then you'll understand why patience is so important. Most traders have no idea what storyline they're a part of. They have no idea that there's a certain theme that's in play, that there's a certain objective that is playing out. They don't know that. That's why all they're looking for is patterns. Can you imagine watching 20 different movies, okay? One's a mystery, one's a thriller, one's a drama, one's a comedy, and you don't understand the difference between all of them, but all you know is that you're looking for a certain pattern. So what's the pattern? Or I'm looking for a scene where a guy is talking to a woman and they get into an argument. Okay, I'm looking for that scene. And that's where I will jump in because I'm expecting the outcome of that scene is to be that they get over the argument, they apologize, and then they give each other hugs. All right. But that argument could be happening in a horror movie, in a comedy, in a drama. Okay. So you're pretty much guessing. Sometimes you'll be right, but most of the times you'll be wrong. Why? Because you don't understand the movie. You don't understand what type of movie it is, and so the context is out of place. That's how I see most conventional trading being done, is there's a disconnect between what is taking place, and that's why there's more of a focus on patterns and all that other stuff to try to give you an indication of what potentially could be playing out. But you really have to know what is playing out for you to put the odds in your favor. When you know what's really playing out, then you're not looking for patterns. You're just following along with what the banks are doing, and you know where it fits into the overall story of price, and then you can take advantage of that. All right. See. How long? Yeah. So for gold, how long can it take? Um, let's see. It could take a little bit longer. Depends. How long is price going to sit here on the side? It's already done that for, a few weeks. So is it going to be another week or 2 weeks? I don't know. I can tell you that. It's whatever the banks decide. So all I know is that when this area is removed, then it's going to start setting up for long trades. That's what I could tell you. So just put your alerts up there, wait for those areas to be taken out, and when they are, then you're good to go. That's it. It's as simple as that. Be patient. You know, the thing is that people who are impatient are trading for the wrong reasons, to be honest with you, right? This is not a video game. I know most people play video games and watch TV shows, and the rate in which scenes change from one to another, they're so quick nowadays. You ever go and watch a movie from 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago? You watch it and you're like, this is boring. Well, you know why it's boring? Because if you watch to see the pace of the movie, they're a lot slower back in the day. Nowadays it's boom, 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 boom. Everybody's so impatient. Everybody gets bored so quickly. So, if you take that mentality and bring it to trading, you're going to find yourself in trouble because you're going to get bored. And the only time frame you should be on, you're on the bank's time frame, not your own. You're on the bank's time frame. You got to be watching and seeing what the banks are doing, and when they create the okay on the charts, when they create the chart signals, then that's when you move. Until then, you really have to be patient. Find something else to do with your time. Set your alerts, and that's it. Let's see. Yeah, Timothy, you've been working hard, very hard. I know. Weekly target hit on USCAD. Let's take a quick look. USCAD. Nice. Yes, sir. Pips within my target. Yeah, I'm about to close off a bunch of positions. See? And I wouldn't know that. I have a bunch of positions short USCAD, and my targets are about to be hit, Whereas a lot of traders would be sitting in front of their screens looking at their P&L and rubbing their hands together and salivating. I'm not even paying attention. I don't care, I get into positions, I put my stop losses. As it plays out in my favor, I add to my winning trades, and then I don't even look at my my software. MetaTrader is closed. I don't even pay attention to it. I don't look at my profit and loss, because trading for me is all about making good decisions. That's it. I'm just about making good decisions and keep emotions out. I look at the chart. I know what needs to be done. I open up my trades. I stay, as calm as possible, and I don't think much about them. Once the trades are in, that's it. The decisions have been made. I've been watching this chart for a long time now, so I knew what to expect from it. I knew it was going to drop with high certainty, very, very high certainty. Why? Because I followed along in the movie. Okay, the same thing. I followed along in the movie. When price is doing this, and then it creates beautiful supply, I'm like, oh, that's my scene. That's where I enter. Just like here, this is where I enter. Price is going to go. Now's my time to enter this movie, and it's to go short. So I did that. I took advantage, and now I'm reaping the benefits of it. Why? Because I was patient. I knew the storyline. I knew when to enter, and I knew that it was going to take time to play out. So I'm not going to bother myself looking at my my MT4 and should I close it now? How long is it going to take? Be patient. The most patient traders make the best returns. The impatient ones get in, get out, get in, get out. And you work so hard to make a little bit of a return. A lot of return you're going to give back to the markets because of your impatience. That's not a professional way to trade. So yeah, it's looking good, man. Thanks for the heads up on that. Let's see. You guys want to take a look at any markets? Any specific markets? Interesting reaction to 4-hour zone on Euro Kiwi. Yeah, look at that. Contacted demand. And look at that coming in. Yeah, very good reaction to that 4-hour demand zone, huh? Day trade. Was there a 15-minute momentum shift there? Let's see, because that would have been an excellent entry. Excellent entry. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I see something here. So I see, in terms of trend line, no, we didn't have that. I don't see that, but what I do see is this. We have supply here and demand here. That was your entry right here, long. Okay. That was your entry long off of demand. And look at that. Comes down, it hits demand, and away she goes. 3-to-1 already. There you go. Easy breezy. Okay. Same thing over and over again. So lots of trading opportunities. Just are you sitting watching these areas? And that was backed up by a daily area demand too. Look at that. Daily area demand contacted, and now that bullish pressure coming in. Beautiful. Yeah, very nice. Let's see. Kiwi US dollar. Let's take a look at what's going on with the Kiwi. Okay, so dropped from supply on the daily. Yeah, not too surprised. Why? Well, because of what happened back here. We would expect a drop. Not much happening. It's just still sitting in between supply and demand. So not much to see there. I needed to break up. ETH still going up. That's okay. You got in on the 4-hour high risk and went in again on the 15-minute, just got out. That's the, which one? Which chart was that, Giorgio? Euro Kiwi? You got in on the Euro Kiwi? Nice. Good man. That was a well-located trade. Yeah, we're streaming every day. We just recently began after many requests for doing some live analysis. So we're going to be doing live shows. Tomorrow I got a level 3 session with students at 9 a.m. So we'll do the live session afterwards. So maybe around 10 o'clock or something, we'll do it. AUDCAD. Not much. We got in short AUDCAD, right? Alerted on the watch list up here that AUDCAD was going to drop. Targets were 95.43. Okay. I added to my short here and then 95.43. That was a good trade, short. That was a really good one. And now we got demand in play. So, excuse me, demand is in play. So it's not highest odds for short. So let's take a quick look at some other markets. What's the SPY doing? Up at the highs, nice, very strong market. So this is what I've located here. Look at the massive drop that we had, right? January 2020. Okay. You remember this massive drop here. This is why I love supply and demand, okay? Because you really can see what's going on when you have the supply and demand mapped out on the charts. This massive drop, you remember how, what's that guy from Pershing Square? I always forget his name. Remember he shorted the market? Everybody was giving him a hard time saying, why would you short against the economy? And he's like, well, I'm just protecting my investors. Well, you know, these big players, we tend to think, oh, they're such great investors. Like, how would they know? Well, these big investors are investing money on behalf of super rich people, all right? Super rich and powerful people. So, you know how many people were alerted to the potential collapse of the market once there was talk of what the United States government had planned in regards to what was taking place in the world, right? So, a lot of people get heads up on things, okay? And so he shorted, and guess where he started to get back in? Long. How interesting, right? How interesting. And that was located at an area of demand by the banks. This is areas where the banks are looking to buy. Okay, these markets don't reverse just in the middle of nothing for no reason. They reverse because they're areas where the banks have interest in buying. Okay, that's how it works. And that's what happened here. Look at that, right down there. Okay, sucked up the demand from there, and then it's been all the way up ever since. So on the monthly chart, we have nice demand here. So if price ever was to come down to the 380s, buy, because it'll likely do that. Okay. On the weekly, we have an area here. So 390s, good area to buy on pullbacks. You see how perfect supply and demand works? Look at this. See that demand there? See? When price was up here, price closed there. What do you think everybody was thinking about there? The big boys selling. Okay, massive supply came into the market. So don't you think that this area here, when the algorithms are programmed to remove that area, don't you think that that area is an area of buying by the banks? Yes, it is. Okay, that's why we have this thing here. That's where the banks were accumulating a massive long position in preparation to remove this area here. And once they caused price to go up here, they lured retail traders into buying. They reversed price to shake them out. Where did price drop to? Right inside their area of demand. And then they took off. Right? So again, you can apply these principles to any market. Any market. Kevin, could you please sum up what are the rules for a good trend line? Because I don't know how to draw them by your method. Well, that's true. You know, unless you're a student, you wouldn't know. I won't divulge that information because that is our little secret sauce. That's what we teach at the school, is exactly how to draw a trend line. There's 1,005 ways of how to draw trend lines, but so here's how you have to look at trend lines, okay? If there was a discussion between two people and one said to the other, is there a right way to draw a trend line? The other person would say, well, in terms of you saying the right way, what would you be trying to get out of drawing a trend line? Okay, are you trying to draw a trend line just to locate support and resistance? Then yeah, there's probably the right way to draw a trend line to show support and resistance. So what is your purpose of drawing a trend line? Our purpose of drawing trend lines here at the school is because we want to know where the institutions are trying to lure in retail traders. Okay. Trend lines, when drawn properly, okay, there has to be very specific things taking place on the chart for us to know that there should be a trend line there. Otherwise, you could be drawing false trend lines. And if you draw a false trend line, it's not going to give you the information from it that you want. It's going to give you false information. Okay. And false information is not going to lead you to understanding the story of price. Remember how we were talking about following the story of price and knowing where your scene is so that you can enter? If you draw false trend lines and false zones, then you're going to get a false storyline. And then you're going to think your scene is somewhere in the middle, but meanwhile, the whole storyline is incorrect. So drawing trend lines is really important because we are using them to locate trends. Number one, we're using them to locate trends when the institutions create trends, and we need to use them to know how retail traders are being lured into taking the opposite side of the trades that the banks are taking. Okay, but there are very specific rules to that, but I don't want to divulge them because that is what our students are learning in the school, and that's what the education is all about. Okay, so sorry for that, but I can't give that away. SPY will repeat the same story again. Yeah. Hi, Kevin. Can you please check pound yen? Crypto crashing anytime now. Yeah, you know, in terms of crypto, can it crash? Sure, it can. You know, I'm always fearful of anything that is really pumped up in the markets. Anything that's really pumped up in the market, that's really pumped up on TV, that's really pumped up on the radio, it makes me wonder why it's being pumped up. Okay, because remember, taking up time in the media, it's costs money. Okay, whether it's a news story, time is money when it comes to the media. All right, they could be selling ad space, but instead they're talking about Bitcoin. So somebody's paying for that. Okay, somebody's paying for Bitcoin to be advertised constantly and to entice people to buy. And I'm afraid it might not end very, very well for a lot of people. Okay, that's why I don't want to touch it. I would buy it in areas of demand by the banks, but other than that, I don't want to be involved. Okay. Could it go a little bit higher from where it's at? Sure. Yeah, anything can happen. Okay. Nice reaction from our demand zone on the daily chart, but how high is it going to go? Is it going to continue going high? You know, there's too many questions in regards to that. So I would much rather just stay away. Not good. Strong rally on gold. Here we go. Yeah, it looks like it. Is it starting to move now while we were looking at the other markets? There we go. Looking good. Yeah. Well, we know the odds were that, right? Isn't that what we were saying? The odds were that gold was going to rally. So you see, when you follow along the storyline of price, how you can determine with high degree of accuracy what the next move is, right? How did we figure that out at the beginning of this session? We were looking at the euro, right? And what it was creating right now, and that it was very likely going to continue higher to create that ascending structure on the daily chart. So with that, we said gold will probably get stronger and take out these areas of supply. So now we're seeing that play out. And this pullback to 4-hour demand is helping to facilitate that. So let's take a look at this 4-hour chart also, because I see something interesting here. I see something interesting here. So let's do something. Like this. And so this is what we got right now. Let me fix this trend line here. This is the situation that we got on the 4-hour now. Soon we'll have an uptrend on the 4-hour and we'll have new demand. So this could be a really nice structure that the banks will use to help facilitate the breakout on the daily chart. So long positions possibly could be had, but you have to understand that the risks are a little bit increased because we have to make assumptions here, right? We have to make assumptions that this 4-hour uptrend will be used to facilitate the break of these areas. So if you get in long now, basing risk off the 4-hour trend, stop losses below the 4-hour demand, this would be, the odds of this working out would probably be around 65%, okay? 65%. I like to take trades that are 75% and higher. 75% is borderline for me. I like 80, 85, 90%, 95% trades. And you're probably thinking to yourself, how in the bloody hell do you even know if a trade is 70%, 75%, 80%? Is there such a thing as an 80% trade? 85% trade, 90% trade? Yeah, there is. When you follow the storyline of price, you know that there's certain times where price is doing, certain things, coming down to demand and uptrends and so forth, that with a high degree of certainty, price is going to move in a very predictable manner. Okay, very predictable. So when those times happen, then you can take advantage of them because you know the odds of the trade working out are 90, 95%. So 65%, I'd say, once these areas of supply get taken out on the daily, then we're moving up into the 75%. Okay. Once a proper uptrend is formed on the daily, now we're dealing with 80 to 85% that it continues higher. Okay. That's what I'm seeing with gold. I mean, that's what we've been seeing for a long time, right? And remember, the retail traders were in long here. They lured them in short with this price drop. Okay. We talked about this a couple days back. They lured them in to go short, and then look what they did. Okay. So they lured them in short here. They lured them in short here. Notice how they're always luring retail traders in short, when price is down, right? When price is heading lower. That's always where they lure in retail traders short. So, and that's the game. That's the trick. That's what they do, right? They lure people in short so they could buy, and then they reverse price up. It's the same thing over and over again. It's crazy, but they just keep doing the same thing. And I often ask myself, I'm like, well, when are people going to wake up and realize that they keep on being lured in? And the thing is that if you don't know the game, how could you avoid being lured in? You're always going to be suckered in because you don't know how the game is being played against you. It's a difficult, complicated game. It's not easy to figure out. So let's see. What are you guys wanting to look at? Before we let you go, would you mind elaborating your approach to USCAD when it comes to trades? Are you going to bank your trade on the daily target or keep on trades until the weekly target? So let's see. Oh yeah, so my targets have been hit. Wonderful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, we are expecting more downside over a longer period of time. I believe some of my trades are being closed now, and I have other short ones at the weekly trend target. Look at that beautiful drop. Beautiful. This is profits, 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 right? And that's just what we do. This is our profession. This is our business. So we'd expect profits, right? I love when I see traders like getting so excited with profits and they're posting it online and they're like, look at me, I made some money. I mean, do you see a contractor when he gets paid for doing a construction job? Do you see him taking pictures of his construction check saying, look at me, I made some money? No, you don't, right? Because when this is your business, you expect to make money. This is just how it goes. You don't flaunt the money you make. You're supposed to make money. This is why you put the effort and time that you do. So yeah, we've detailed the entries, why we got in short, what we were looking for at the time. It was all based on this here. I mean, we got in short here as well, okay? Because we knew as price was dropping and removing obstacles, that it was going to drop like this easily because all of this stuff here was congested price action. We knew that. All price needed was to have a little bit of momentum and it was going to drop hard. So that is what took place. So we got in here and then we got in here for the continuation of the move. This was a nice strong weekly downtrend, and we knew with high degree of certainty that this weekly downtrend was going to help to facilitate that move lower to hit these lower targets. So I don't remember off the top of my head how many positions I have with this target and how many positions I have with the lower target. I'm not quite sure. But now that my first batch of short trades have closed, you know, I look over here. What do I see? I see a nice demand zone that was lightly tested here. So we could see a bounce up after price drops down into this area. And then after the bounce up, I'll watch price and see what kind of structures the banks are creating. Are the banks creating structures that will facilitate a further move lower? If I see that, guess what I do? I start getting in short again with more positions. But this time my targets will all be the lower target that I have. Okay, and I'll just wait and add to it as it plays out in my favor. Unlike, you know, what most traders do, add to losing positions in the hopes that it's going to reverse, I add to winning positions. And sometimes I add to a winning position and then it goes against me, like right here, okay, on the daily chart. I knew price was going to drop, and I knew that there was a possibility that it wasn't going to rally up into supply before it did that. So I said, well, since I know eventually it's going to drop, what do I care if I get in here in preparation for the potential of it just continuing to drop? What's the problem? Why can't I just get in there? I could. And then if it does go up to supply, then I add other positions up there. And then when it breaks past the area where I had short positions, I continue to add to my short positions. So it's just a waiting game. Like, did I care that this position that I opened short went against me when price was rallying up here? I didn't care because I knew the storyline was saying that price was going to head lower. Okay. If you're liking what I'm sharing, please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. Get my likes up. I haven't seen it refresh, so I have no idea how many likes I got. Can anybody see how many likes we have for this session today? Has it refreshed on your side? YouTube must have a little bug this morning. Yeah, like and share if you don't mind. I appreciate it. And we will continue doing these videos for you. Kevin, it was a rough ride, big guy. The move to the downside, it was a rough ride for you, but Kevin was the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, that's funny. Well, you know what? That's funny because students, they get into these trades, and then when they see that price goes against them, they're like freaking out, right? But they keep on asking me, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think it's going to drop? I'm like, listen, what's the storyline? We know the storyline, right? Okay, so let's just wait for it to play out. Some movies are longer than others. Some scenes are longer than others. At the end of the day, we know how the movie ends, right? So let's just sit and wait it out. So it's a big relief when it starts to drop, isn't it, buddy? Yeah, Giorgio, it's a big relief. Kevin was my light at the end of the tunnel. That's funny. Francesco Balducci, 34. Ooh, boy, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Thanks for the likes. I really do appreciate that. Yeah. So yeah, so it's heading lower, and getting in short now would not be ideal. It would not be ideal. I would want to wait for it to, you know, bounce up, because it could bounce from these areas. Wait for it to bounce up, create structures, and then get involved in short positions again. That's what I would do. Okay. All right, so we're at about an hour, so I'm gonna wrap this up. I think that was a good session. We went through and covered a lot, looked at the markets, showed you some of the trades that we've taken, why we took them, talked a little bit about that, a little bit about the psychology of trading. Not looking at your, like, I have no idea how much money I made on these trades, and I don't really care. To be honest with you, I don't care, because the money accumulates. It's like, I look at it like somewhat like I wouldn't say a video game, because people get excited when they play video games, but it's like I enter my positions, I have my targets, and I just let it do what it does. And all I do is focus on my charts. When it's time to open up trades, I open up my MetaTrader, I input my trades, and then I close MetaTrader. I don't drive around in my car and I look at MetaTrader on my phone, all that stuff. I don't even bother with that. I don't care. I don't want to be involved in that. I open the trades, set my targets, I walk away. I put my stop losses and I walk away. Okay. Look at the daily chart. Okay. Look what the stop loss was here. That was a stop loss. Okay. For entering into short positions, knowing that if price came up here, it was likely not going to break through this area and hit my stop losses, right? And look how accurate that was. Because if price came up here and hit the stop losses, then the dynamic was shifting on the chart, and then I'd have to wait for it to finish its momentum to the upside, shift momentum to the downside, and then I'd start reaccumulating my short positions again. So it'd be a temporary loss, but longer term, it would end up playing out in my favor. So I wasn't worried at all. I had plan A, B, and C. Okay, anyways, I have registered for your course. Oh, that's good. Good to hear. I don't get time for live sections. You have your own at the moment. You have your own ATM? Yeah. Well, it's not my own ATM. You know, how many hours of work I have to put into this stuff, right? I've put a lot of effort. It just seems like it's easy, and you know, when you make your profits, it's like I worked hard for those profits. I worked many years and I had to lose money. You know, most businesses when you start, right? You work, but you have to make an investment into it. It's a big investment, so you lose money. But the second you start supplying the service or selling the product, you're making money, and like real money's coming in. And for so many years, all that happened was money was leaving my account over and over and over and over again. So and then money stopped leaking my account because I'd win and lose, win and lose, win and lose. And I was working and working and putting so much effort into learning, and I wasn't getting paid. You know, the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I was doing. If I didn't love it, there was no way I was going to continue it, right? So the love and passion is what drives you. If you're into this only for the money, good luck. Your success will be short-lived. I just will tell you that right now. Okay. If it's only about the money, it'll be short-lived. Sure, you can make some money, you know, copying other people and doing what they're doing, but you really have to have the love and passion for it, because it'll keep your emotions in check. You won't be doing the wrong things. You're not going to drive around, look at your phone and be getting excited and, oh, maybe I should close my positions now. You won't be doing those things. You'll be confident, secure in what you do. And it's amazing because the amount of profits you can make when you're calm and cool and collected, it's incredible. It's incredible. There's no greater feeling in the world than putting in so much time and effort learning how to trade these markets and then having the confidence to open up positions and wait. And it's like, you know, I remember when I was younger and I started opening up positions, it used to go in my favor and I used to get so excited. I'm like, oh, that's real money. I can just close it right now and take my profits. And then I would, and then 2 weeks later, I'd look at price and I'd be like, why did I take profits so quickly? I knew with a great certainty that it was going to go all the way up there. Why didn't I just wait? And it's like, well, because you don't have any emotional control. When you build up that emotional control and you don't make it all about the money and you make it all about the trading and making good decisions, oh my God, it's the best. Like, I'm a little bit excited to finish this session so I can open up my MT4 and see when my targets were hit, how much money I made. But you know, I don't want to make it all about that, right? Profits are good. It's what you get for all the hard work that you put in, and it's part of my business. This is why I trade for a living. It's my business to make money in trading. So anyways, great chat. Thanks for joining. If you haven't liked, if you could hit the like button, I would appreciate it. And great session. Like I said, tomorrow instead of 9 a.m., we'll do it for like 10 a.m., which is exactly 24 hours from this moment. And let's take a look at the markets and see what's going on. All right, guys. So thanks for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and be good. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Take care, everybody.